Okay, let's call this meeting to order.
Agnes Varnarski,
Present.
Dana Syvertson,
Here.
Pete Hahn,
Here.
John Kamish,
Here.
Ed Madden. Ed, are you going to say yay?
Present.
Thank you. Seth Marcus,
Here.
I'm Jill Moskell, and all are present, and we have a quorum.
Okay, let's have approval of the minutes of the special meeting of June the 2nd.
I make the motion that we've approved the excellent minutes that Jill wrote. As always, they're superb and without flaws. And I make the motion that we approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Minutes approved. Okay, let's move on to old business. The Gary Morava Nature Preserve and the response from the Prospect Heights Park District.
Okay, so you recall where we left off on this. We had the sort of tribal area where all the sedges were that had the big stump in the middle and then it was ringed by shorter stumps. Has been subject to all kinds of abuse there. Peter single-handedly corrected the creek rerouting. But the latest version, as you all know, was the person who built some kind of a central stand and then string trimmed all the sedges that were there and covered them with mulch. We immediately called the park district and they had no idea what had happened. Christina said, let's let this play out and see if we can figure out who was responsible for this.
They put up a sign.
They put up a sign that says no dumping, so that was their action. After about 3 weeks, we heard nothing else. So Agnes and I went over and raked off all the mulch from the sedges, and then I disassembled what was essentially 5 pallets that they had screwed together to build this 4 foot by 4 foot by cube that they were going to stand on, or who knows what. So we took it apart, and the interns the next day took the pallets off to the refuge.
And then we planted about 400 or more sedges right around that area where Peter had fixed it.
And so the bottom line is it's on the mend once again. Hopefully the sign the park district put in will alleviate some of this. I don't know why this area just simply gets hit on all the time, but it does.
I was just there today, actually about 2 hours ago, and looking good. Nice job. The sign is there, and there's also a no dumping sign at the entrance on the east side. So hopefully that's
Yeah,
helpful as well.
yeah, we saw that too as well.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, Morava's looking really good, really good.
It's fantastic. I mean, it's beautiful right now.
Okay, so that's basically closed the story on the last round of Morava abuse. So I'll turn it over to Agnes for the intern program update.
Okay. Yeah, the intern program has been going very well. Alyssa and Blair are just spectacular. Farhad's really good too, but those girls are just like a powerhouse. They get so much work done. They're so smart. They take initiative to do things. Like we'll be walking around and I'll say like, "Oh, this should be done," or "This should be done." And as soon as they're done with one task, they'll move on to that. It's really great. They're learning a lot too. Really smart. So they have 3, including this week. When this week is over, they'll have 3 weeks left.
Hard to believe.
I know, it's crazy.
I think you said they were up to 200 species at this point.
Yeah, over 200 species that they know down packed. So with quizzes and tests and everything, they're just really great. They're really great. Their personality is amazing. They are so careful, in this time of coronavirus. Everybody wears masks. We even wear masks outside when we're walking around because there's always a plant to show or something. You just never know when you get too close. But they are, they're sanitizing everything. They wear masks all the time.
Extremely conscious.
Very careful, very careful. I mean, I can't say the same about a lot of other, it's just, they're amazing. So, you know, when we walk around on a field trip, we've all got masks on.
Mhm.
It's
But I
been a
did ask
pleasure.
them at one point, I mean, they have, Agnes is not exaggerating at all, they have done just spectacularly well together. There's a lot of camaraderie there. They work extremely well together. They're very, very upfront about, you know,
Everything,
what do
yeah.
I do? What's next? They're intuitive. They extrapolate what's next, and you don't have to really tell them.
They
I
get so
asked
much
them-
work done too. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think anybody, any pair that we've had
Yeah,
before
without a doubt, this is our
has
best combination.
gotten more work done. I'm
Mhm.
always shocked. Like when I come to an area, you guys did this yesterday? Like it's just,
Mhm.
it's unbelievable.
Part of why that's so successful is that Blair has her last internship last summer. All she did was herbicide, and so she's the herbicide pro.
She is, but she had no sort of, I mean, she had direction, but she didn't have any sort of like educational experience with a plant. So she really appreciates all of the plants and everything and all the education that we do. And
Mhm.
I feel like they're so great together. It's really good.
So the bottom line is, I wouldn't rule them out for repeats of next summer. They're both, Blair's a senior, and she wants to sort of do something else, but they both have had such a great time that they just said, you know, they wouldn't rule it out. So
But it looks like they both want to do
it looks
something
like they're
else.
both going to move on, though, but you never know.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Maybe someone
Any
wants to-
questions?
Comments, questions?
What is the young man's name again? Did you say, didn't quite hear it.
Ferhat.
Pardon?
Ferhat.
How do you spell that?
Ferhat.
Abat is his
Abat
last
is
name.
his last name. Abat.
Got it. Thank you.
He is the son of Medea's. He's Medea's son from Wheeling High School.
Right.
And I feel like he's, you know, he's really shy, but he's learned a lot too as well. He really has learned a lot. So there are certain things that he is like 100% on, and he brings a lot of help to the girls too.
It doesn't cost us anything. All right, Nature Speaks. Isabella, you know, as you know, did the first Zoom. Nature Speaks. I believe that the final total was close to 50 people were in the audience. It was recorded, and I just actually got the link and put it on the website right before this meeting. So Isabel's presentation is up and available for everyone. The next speaker up is slated for October, and it's going to be Tricia Betke, who is she's with Morton Arboretum, and she is going to talk about plant health. This is the International Year of Plant Health, and so she's going to talk about that. She's like the main person there for invasive species coming into plants. And so her research paper that she's working on now is involved with the jumping worms, and she's become sort of quite the expert on that. But she's going to be talking about the International Year of Plant Health, and then bringing that back to Illinois and invasive species that we're now starting to see in terms of insects, pests, and invasive plant forms. Seth gave me a really good lead also on Kim Click at the Lake County Forest Preserves, and I've written to him and I haven't heard back from him yet. He is somewhat of an expert on Illinois orchids. And so we're looking to him for a possible presentation on that. Terry at the library has been running our videos of our past speakers and putting them out to her library audience as content. So there's certain set days in their calendar where they're running the Stephen Packard, or they're running
Certain Nature Speaks
yeah,
programs.
whatever, whichever the videos that we have up, they're the ones that are being run in that series. So I haven't had an opportunity to talk to her about how well they're being attended or if people are watching them. She's also come up with another slot potential for, I want to say it's November, and apparently with the Zoom meetings, it's much easier for her to do all this stuff. So she's looking to increase content, maybe more than 4 speakers a year. So we'll see how that plays out. That's about all I have for that. Any questions on it?
Comments? Thoughts?
Can I just ask a question back to the intern program? They work a total of 10 weeks?
10 weeks, yes.
Thank you.
So after this week, they have 3 left.
And it's 40 hours a week?
40 hours a week, yes.
Okay, let's move on to the Park District events. Mary Lou has committed to doing the 2 fall bird walks. She set the dates at September 12th and 26th. So we're looking forward to that. Lee will not be part of that this year. He's waiting for a vaccine before he decides to come out of the house again. So it will be Mary Lou. Same things will be in place, limited to 10 people. Masks are required, and on from there. Marcy Gliski from the Park District also, in addition to trying to finalize the bird walks, asked about other programs that we might be interested in doing. The only thing we came up with was either a virtual tour or a real-time guided tour. You remember back when we were in the early stages of the ComEd Prairie, we were actually doing prairie tours. And so we talked about the possibility of doing that.
So we wanted to ask what you guys think about
So
it.
we need to ask what you guys think about that. They're looking for at least 2 dates, sometime in the fall, or it could be as early as late summer here. And what we were thinking would be a tour of the sites, and whether we do that with a virtual tour, or maybe we do both. A virtual tour where it's a video walkthrough and everybody talks about it as we go through it, or it's a real session that's limited to 10 people and basically tour. It's a little bit of outreach and it's a little bit of education. So I want to know what you guys think about that, and if anybody would want to participate in it. The Slough, the Prairie, and Morava would probably be the ones that would be most suited to that sort of distance and time that it would take. And so I'd like to hear your thoughts.
Well, with everyone being restricted, I think they would look forward to having a reason to be out. And everyone is rediscovering nature. What are they saying? Everyone's planting vegetable and flower gardens. So I think maybe we could do it live, but recording it as we're doing live, and then we could re-show the recording. But
That's
I think
a good
doing
idea.
live is an excellent idea.
Mhm.
I agree, doing both. First of all, would make a better recording to have people there than just a talking head, and allows for interaction and questions. And I think, yeah, combo is the way to go.
Would anybody be interested in participating in the tour and like leading part of it, or participating in it in some fashion? It's a blank slate. And then the next part is which sites make the most sense, and then we need to look at some timing. Marcy's looking for copy on all this next week, early next week, so that it can go into the printed brochure.
And it would be filmed on like a phone?
No, I would use a video camera.
Uh-huh.
I have a nice small camcorder that,
And that would
Does-
link directly into the internet?
no, it would be video that we would just put up after the fact. Or
Well,
we
I
could
thought
do
we
it.
were- I thought we were gonna
If
do
we're
it
gonna do a
live.
live stream event, then yeah, it would be a fun.
Yeah, it would be, yeah, live stream seems really
Does that make more
nice.
sense to do live stream instead of video? Yes, it does, doesn't it?
Well, again, do both. I mean, do a live stream and have it taped so that it can be rebroadcast. So,
Well, you can record your live stream though, so
right.
it's all in one fell swoop.
So whatever the method is, but I think it makes sense to do all three. Have a live event with participants and have it recorded.
Anybody feel specifically about one side or another?
No,
Timing?
no, but I'll participate.
I can't imagine not doing the SLU. I mean, there's just so much to cover there, and it really is one of our most visible, areas in the city.
Okay.
I think as far as having people, probably the widest area, like the area where you can get as much social distance is the ComEd seated prairie. Because the path is very wide and you can really socially distance there. If we were gonna have a live, like with people, with people, I don't know, I think it might be difficult to do live with people and videotapes. Either we do it like where we're walking through and then people are asking questions and watching it and we're showing them things and we're asking about questions that they have and everybody's engaged and involved as if they're there, but they're watching from home and we're showing them things and they're asking questions almost as if they were there. I think that sounds pretty cool and fun.
There used to be a TV show, I don't know if it still exists, where a guy would take you to interesting places in the city of Chicago. And he would walk through the city and point out some sculpture or point out whatever. And he didn't have anyone with him. He didn't have, an audience with him, but it worked out great. He walked through the city and as a TV viewer, you sort of walked with him. And I don't know, Dana, do you have the ability to do editing to it?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because I can imagine, like, let's say, you're filming Agnes pointing out this plant and that plant and that plant, and then we stop, and then we wait for a butterfly to show up, and then you start the thing and you take a picture of, in other words, it might not be conducive necessarily to live action if things aren't, we might have breaks, natural breaks that we might want to cut out.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to wait very long for a butterfly here. It's crazy.
Right, but I mean, just to get a good video or something, you might want to.
Yeah, no, I think the other good thing about if we had a video of the site that was a guided tour, that becomes a great thing that could be built into the website on each of the site pages.
Yeah.
So people could virtual tour the site before they actually go out. So
Right.
I like that idea. That's really solid.
And then to do it at Morava would also be an educational thing, like, this is a park. You're not supposed to, wipe it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I still think we should offer it for people, because as you mentioned, so many people are walking the slough and Hillcrest Lake, and they may appreciate having the education. What are they actually seeing?
Well, that's what I was thinking. It would be really good for the lake community. There's a ton of people asking questions, and as we're out there, we answer everything we can. But if we had a video actually where we walked up and down the lake and showed what the problems were, and then what the potential solutions are, and what we've done to this point, and what we're going to do, I think it could answer a lot of questions for people around the area who are wondering what the heck we're doing.
Yeah,
And
I
it
like
might
that
also,
idea.
if we catch it in time, we could showcase a little art.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
That's a
like that
great
idea.
idea.
Mhm.
Yeah. We talk about a lot of things actually. But now we're sort of engaging people who want to be engaged, but not in the moment exactly.
When is the art expected to be down?
Well, that's part of another topic coming up, but the city just authorized it to be there till the end of August. That's the last update I got from Christina. So that was the goal all along, was to leave it there at least till the end of August.
Glad to hear that. It's a good thing, and it's making everybody happy around here, so that's good.
It is. Okay, great. Those are really terrific suggestions. So
should we make a decision though? We have to make a decision.
mhm. And as far as dates go, I mean, for instance, if we decide to do like a guided tour, it would be nice if we had more than just Agnes leading the guided tour, just so we had some, you know.
Well, I'd be happy to participate. I mean, do something.
And in a video too. So
Well-
like Seth can do like his own video with like butterflies or whatever. Each person can do their own little piece and we just put it together. Dana's really good at editing stuff, so we can
Well, I think
whip everything together.
it might be nice to do two separate things maybe, because we get mileage that we can extend in all directions by doing a guided tour that's just one or two people conducting this guided tour through the trails, like, you know, at the Slough or Morava. And then that becomes edited content that could be on the website on the specific page for the specific site, which I'm ready to redo the entire website at this point. So looking towards fulfilling some of those things, that's a great idea. I mean, it's perfect that you could go in and look at this before you go there, just to see if you really, you know, want to go. It might be more motivating for people to get out and even, you know, participate and go do more after they see a little bit of it. But then there's also the personal contact of doing a set fixed date when
People can come out.
people
and
can
actually
come
be
out.
there in
And
person.
so that leads back into what the Park District is looking for, is they're looking for us to commit. If we want to do a tour, they're looking for us to commit to a couple of sites and a couple of dates in addition to the bird walks, so that I can get some copy written and get it into the brochure. So that part's due next week. If we do
Well, why
a
don't we
video
do-
guided tour, it'll be on our own.
Why don't we do a live site tour like in mid to late August? We can pick a date right now and a site. So you know, it's either like I don't know that I don't have a calendar in front of me, but
I'm getting one right now.
okay.
I have a calendar.
Okay, I got a calendar. All right, Mary Lou has her birdwalk talk, or Birds of Chicago talk on the 3rd of August.
You didn't mention that.
Well, not yet, no. And then pretty much everything else is wide open for August.
Are we looking at weekend days for this?
I think maybe like a Wednesday night at 6 o'clock or something might make more sense.
I
Except
agree.
that
Those are
seat
nice times
collection.
to actually
Oh, that's
stroll
seat
out there, and
collection.
a lot of people are done with work and they come out and they're not, you know, gone for the
Yeah.
weekend or whatever.
We could do a Saturday. I'm good with Saturday. I can definitely take off a day.
I like the Wednesday evening idea. I mean, we can do both, but
It doesn't have to be
idea,
Wednesday.
it cools off, especially if we're talking about an August date. It can be pretty darn
Right.
hot and buggy.
Well, as I just mentioned, and she confirmed, is Wednesdays are seed collection, and we're already in seed collection on that
Soon, probably. So
soon.
How
So
about like a Thursday then?
yeah, Thursday night.
any day. Any day.
So let's pick Thursday the 20th.
Sounds good.
That's Mr. Wiener's birthday.
So that's a week after our next board meeting, I guess. The one that's.
Right. And so do you want to do two of them?
We could do
That's
like
okay.
a weekend too. Like we could do the 20th, which is a Thursday, and the 22nd, which is a Saturday.
Well, do we want to spread them out a little bit?
Okay, we could spread them out too. 29th, day before.
Or we could even go into September. So September, we have the bird walk on the 12th and the 26th. We could maybe do the 19th of September.
It's kind of late. How about the 5th?
That's Labor Day weekend, but that might work
Oh.
well. No, that might work well. People
It
may,
might.
It
Yeah.
might.
People aren't gonna be traveling, that's for sure. All right,
Yeah.
so
The 5th.
September 5th.
Sure.
or, you know, keep in mind that September, the third week in September is Illinois Prairie Week.
Oh.
The third week is?
Yeah,
we
and the
have
first day First day of fall is September 22nd. That's a Tuesday.
Well, we might as well link it into the Prairie Week.
We did that 1 year.
We did that 1 year, but might as well do it again. We're always looking for events for that, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So why don't we do Friday the 18th?
Friday the 18th is the,
No, it's not.
oh, okay.
It's-
So we're doing a Thursday and a Friday, but no weekend?
Right. I don't know. I mean, that's just an idea. If we want to tie it into Prairie Week, it would either be Sunday the 13th or Saturday the 19th.
Saturday the 19th.
Do
Maybe.
Saturday the 19th.
Yeah, Saturday the 19th, and then that's right before our work day.
Okay, so which site is when?
Well, if it's Prairie Week, we should do ComEd on Prairie
Yeah.
Week, September the 19th.
Okay,
Yeah, that sounds good.
and do the SLU or
Marava.
Maraba on the 20th, August 20th.
Both good choices.
Well, if you do the SLU/Lake, you can incorporate the art show still.
Okay,
True.
So,
Oh, right. It'll still be up, hopefully, in August, right?
yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah,
They said the end of August.
right.
All right, so then we've settled it then. So it'll be
Well, hold
this.
on. Not everybody's.
Well, is everybody okay with that?
Sounds fine.
What's the timing though on a Thursday evening? Are you talking 6 p.m. or?
Yeah, 6
to dark. So it'll be like 7:30
to 7:30.
And what about the
till
19th?
dusk. And then the Saturday, I don't know. What do you guys think?
9 o'clock?
Sounds good. Morning, because people are looking for things to do. But everybody else, I don't know what you think.
Saturday morning, is everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
You think 6:30 for the weekday one, maybe? Just people,
Okay.
allow people to get home
Yeah,
from
we'll
work
get
and
another
eat.
hour of daylight.
Most people
Sure.
are walking around here around 7. So there's less foot traffic, I notice, at 6. So maybe we'll
Okay,
6:30, we'll just push it a little.
6:30, sure.
Okay.
I mean, if that's okay with everybody. Sounds good. So 6:30 and then 9 o'clock on the Saturday,
On Saturday the 19th,
Saturday 19th.
September 19th and August 20th.
Right.
SLU in the lake and ComEd.
How would everybody feel like if Agnes and I took the video camera and maybe started right here at 9 Marion and just did a little video expose to Isaac Walton Park? I'll edit that, put it together, and then show everybody the video and see what you think about that approach to a guided tour. Does that make sense?
To get it started and rolling.
And then if everybody's on board with it, then we'll kick it further down the road.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun.
Yeah. And everybody can have their little part in it too and take their little section and talk about different things or add to it. I think we can
Right.
really make it fun because everybody has something else that they can bring to the area. And you know, also I'm thinking right now, even like seasonal though, like if you take a video in one season, it's so different than in the spring. So this can be an ongoing thing where we just keep editing or keep adding to it, or we can figure that part out, whether we want to do like a, you know, fall at the SLU edition or a spring at the SLU or whatever.
These can be also, this could like evolve into like short little educational videos, 10 minutes longer. So like, okay, how do you identify buckthorn and cut it and herbicide it? 5 minutes, boom. And I get that question all the time. What do we do with this stuff?
Yeah.
And if it's on the website, it's like, well, check it out. And that might get a lot of foot traffic.
Yeah, I could see doing a seasonal video on the sites too. So you show, just a real quick walkthrough on each of the seasons.
But
Yeah.
even short clips like John was saying of like how to control buckthorn, how to do that, or how to do this. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
That's great. It all makes sense.
Mhm.
Okay, the last thing on the Park District agenda then is
10th week camp,
the 10th week camp.
which we did last year, which is a great success, but we're in coronavirus time, and so it wouldn't be 65 students for sure. And
Well,
they
I
say-
talked to Laura, finally got back to me today, and here's what she had to say. Hi, Dana, thanks for the quick response. Yes, many rules and restrictions in place for COVID. When we are outside, we do not have to wear masks as long as we keep 6-foot social distance. If not, then masks need to be worn. I could say that based on the
just keep
function.
reading. Yeah, okay.
All right, if multiple people are using one object, there needs to be cleaning done in between use. As we transition, we will need to break for hand washing. And finally, if possible, we keep all activities on site at Marava Center, so in the nature preserve. She's guesstimating that each day they would have around 30 kids, ages from 5 to 11 years old.
So let's hear from everybody what they think about
So
this.
we
First,
need to hear what
first.
you think about it.
Okay, first. You guys say what you think about it.
Well, what are the dates?
There's no dates yet.
No
Well, the
dates.
10th week, so
10th week,
like
so-
August something.
Yeah.
But the whole situation, like,
Personally, I'm not very comfortable with getting a bunch of kids together right now with the COVID ramping up again. It's just a matter of time before our state starts getting heavy, like all the states we're surrounded by.
yeah,
I'm concerned about it.
I feel exactly the same.
I don't.
I'm very.
If I had a kid, I would not send him to this camp.
I wouldn't either. I mean, it's a horrible thing, and I want kids to engage in nature, and I miss that. But I just know, like, 5-year-olds, and then without masks. I mean, it's hard to expect kids to wear masks at that age, 5 to 11. But without masks and together, I mean, it's just like, I mean, I could just see it exploding, and I don't think I can. I won't be able to sleep at night, you know. So I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's. I don't know. I don't.
I mean, it's a horrible.
Peter, do you have any thoughts on it?
Yeah, I definitely think it's a no-go. It's taking too much of a chance. I wouldn't send my kid. No way.
Seth, Peter?
I mean, Peter already answered.
I mean, Seth and Ed.
I'm agree with what has been said. I think it's a risk that would not be wise.
And I agree. I know I wouldn't be able to commit to it right now, and it's probably not in our best interest to be there anyways.
Yeah. I mean,
I'll say.
it's really horrible, everything that's going on, and but it's just too much of a risk. It's just not the right time. It'll hopefully be back to normal at some point, but right now it's too scary to do something like that.
Okay, so I think the consensus is we just say no to the 10th week.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay, do we need to vote on it?
I think we all just agreed.
Okay, we all agree. All right,
Jill?
Can we, just a quick question, could we put something educational on our website if they go through with the 10th week camp?
well, I mean,
Oh.
that's going to be the next question for them is could we do a virtual event with them?
Yeah,
Right.
that's a great idea. We
Because
could do one of those
they're
videos.
in the midst of trying to switch almost all their programming over to virtual.
I'm just not sure that, kids are
Yeah.
gonna turn it on, and it's a lot of effort too. I'm not sure who's.
Yeah, I don't see the kids getting all, I mean, it's the interactive part of it, getting out there and getting, like to the edge of the creek and seeing stuff and making, crafts.
Looking at the microscope and using the hand lens and touching the touch me nots.
It's also a little
and
bit of
running around the
daycare
creek,
for the parents, so they're going to lose that.
right?
Yeah.
And then if they have to turn on a video too, I don't know.
Sounds
Yeah,
like a recipe for a bomb.
Yeah, I agree with Ed's comments that what the kids like really is the hands-on and the touching and everything else. But if we do make these videos about welcome to Marava, let us walk you through it and the like, I hope it would be cool if we can make one that appeals to us, the full range of ages.
It's a good idea.
From the colors. I even think of, even like, the smells, you pick up a Monarda and don't forget to smell the Monarda seed or whatever. I mean, just everything from the visuals to and hopefully, if mom turns it on one day and Junior walks into the room, it might catch his interest too. I mean, hopefully we can make videos that appeal to a lot of different ages.
Maybe Lauren could be a guest host and appeal
Right.
to the kids.
That's a great idea, right? That
So they
down.
could see the young kids. And Lauren too. We
Yeah,
should have Lauren have a speaking part.
That's right.
that's a great idea. Mhm.
Yeah, John, why didn't you think of that?
I don't know. Thanks, Seth.
All right. All right. Any more thoughts on any of this park district related stuff? Okay, the last item then is the Wheeling High
Business.
School program update. And I can tell you that I drove by there 2 days ago and the roof is still under major construction. So there's absolutely nothing to do there. There's no idea whether they're going to have classes there in the fall yet that I know of. So I'd say everything's temporarily on hold still.
I'm curious, Agnes, from a planting perspective, when is the next optimal? I assume you don't plant in deep summer. When is the next optimal time to plant?
Assuming how many plants you have left, you can do it like through August, September, depending on the site, but probably not until next year.
Oh, so I know we do a spring planting. Is there such a thing as a fall planting?
We do fall plantings, but sometimes if we do it too late, depending on the weather, then when the soil starts to freeze, it'll actually push the plants up, and we've seen that. So we'll lose like 10% of the plantings. But we try to get all the plants in the ground. So we do go pretty late. And like if you're in a wet area, like at the slough, you can plant for sure through September. Because
So at the school, we would say no later than August, the late
yeah,
August.
no later than August. So, I mean, and we've tried to get all those plants in the ground right now because they needed to be. So we don't really have any plants left over to make a very nice large planting. So I
Okay.
would say next year would be the next time.
Okay, good to know.
But I think it would be really, really important to, because, we decide which plants we're going to grow. So if we're planning on doing that, then we would sort of need to know by December, January, so that we could put the appropriate plants to grow. Because we
Makes
grow based on need, and if we're going to have a project, then we would grow certain plants versus others,
Right, makes sense.
Okay. So do you want to, Seth,
Follow up.
do you want to follow up with them on that and let them know?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'll tell them just what we said is that it's too late this year to do any planting, but that we'll have to know by December to plant for spring. We'll have to know what we should be preparing by December.
right?
Okay.
But if they were to decide, even it would be even better to have the site prepared before then. So if we were able to prepare the site in October and then come back in April, May, and then redo it a little bit to get all the weeds and everything to have a clean slate, that would be even better.
Okay.
So if they do make that decision,
Yeah.
then if they made that decision by October, we can go ahead and clear that whole site ready for planting for the spring.
Great. Okay, I'll say that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, moving on to new business then. The ComEd Openland grant update. As everybody knows, we got it. Yay. It's a total of $8,000. $2,000 came from our anonymous donor, $2,000 from the city, and $2,000 from,
4,000.
I'm sorry, $4,000 from Commonwealth Edison.
It's a match grant.
So all of the paperwork has been submitted by Peter Falcone, thank God.
They had their
He's on
meeting.
top of it. They had the resolution meeting on the 13th. They drafted and signed off on the city resolution to accept it. So all the paperwork is in. The funds should be released sort of immediately.
Good to go.
We're good to go. So the next thing we need to talk about is the outreach program and then shoreline stabilization. We need to get some coconut rolls
So
ordered.
so we were talking about that shoreline with the aquatic plants, but that basically stabilizing the shoreline. And I think we didn't speak with everybody about it, but it seems like coconut rolls, we did some research, and John did a lot of research, and Dana did a lot of research. Everybody's done a lot of research, but that might be a really good option, and it's not very expensive. And so we could have a test plot. We have 2 years to expend the grant. So starting like June to the following 2 years from now, so like 2022. So we can at least do a small border or two or three sections that are severely eroding, and use those coconut rolls to stabilize the shoreline, and put up those carpet closures to get aquatic plants in next year.
John, I think, had identified 2 areas that would probably be the best pilots for the coconut rolls. They're giant rolls that are made out of coconut fibers, and they're woven together. They create rolls that are 12 inches in diameter, 24 and 18 inches in diameter, and they're up to 10 feet long, and they can make them even longer if you want. They deliver them. And it depends on what you want and what you're trying to do. And from what we looked at, it looks like it's going to be a tiered approach where we're going to put in one and then another one on top of it.
Pictures to everybody.
Yeah. Well, I think we distributed the information before.
But we could redistribute all of the information that we found, like pictures of things, to try to sort of.
But John had defined a couple areas that I thought made sense to start. And basically what the coconut rolls do is they stabilize the immediate shoreline.
Temporarily.
And they're tagged down with rope in these special stakes, and then you plant into it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it gets, the plants grow through
it's
the
temporary.
coconut roll.
Within a certain amount of years, when the plants finally take over, the coconut rolls are gone. So if you don't choose the right plants, or if it, they're not meant to, as a structure to stabilize. It's meant to be together with the plants that you plant in, but it helps the plants to establish, to keep them in check, and to prevent further erosion. So sounds like a really.
I think it would be good, a trial on those especially critical areas that we identified on the northwest side, especially where it's getting close to the road, the shoreline. So we can terrace it up. I think we should probably get on this like as soon as possible. We have 3 more weeks of the interns.
3, right?
If we could get those delivered and get that going within the next 3 weeks, that's going to be a little bit of work there.
Yes.
And we got to be in the water. We got to put fill in there. We got to plant it and all that stuff. So there's some work to be done with that, and it'd be nice to have those hardworking interns to help us.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. As long as everyone else is on board with the idea. We were going to meet with Mark on Monday morning just to go over the whole concept plan. If anybody else is available, we could choose another day, like around 8. He just emailed me back. He wasn't available tomorrow, or so.
Do you think City Works could help us move some of that topsoil that's deposited, not dumped, at Morava to use as fill behind the coconut rolls we put in and then plant? They have the equipment for that, and
maybe
save
well,
us.
the one possibility, John, is to Chainsaw Lewis has a beater pickup truck that he's offered to us several times. Dino does have some capability there of scooping that dirt up.
But that's
and
Park
it's
District,
possible,
though.
yeah.
It's a city
Right,
project.
But I understand, but the dirt is on the Park District property.
So it would just be their permission to take it, though.
To take it and
But
then
then they
load
wouldn't
it
do
into
it.
the dump truck.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what's possible.
Well, we should try to coordinate that. I mean,
Okay.
Having a front end loader in a truck would save us a tremendous amount of work. And, once we get those rolls in, you can literally deposit that stuff and, spread it out and you're done. Otherwise it's a lot of shoveling and a lot of labor.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, city grant money from Park District, it's all part, I don't know, maybe we can coordinate with everybody and make a happy agreement.
Yeah.
Would it be possible for us to meet out there and just so everybody else can get up to speed
Yeah.
Absolutely.
with what needs to be done? Would any of you guys be available like one evening, anytime from now until
Monday?
Sure.
Monday?
Yes,
Yes.
I'm available.
Me too.
I'm good.
Okay.
Do we need the
Wow.
city and the Park District players involved as well?
Well, we could talk to them on Monday, but as long as everybody kind of sees the area and gives their input, then we could talk, you know, on Monday to Mark, and then we could get back to that. But
Yeah, I'd like
I
the
feel like
commissioners
everybody-
to see it. Yeah.
yeah, just to see the concept and we can, before we meet, I can send all the photos so everybody can kind of see the idea, which is not set in stone, but then we can all talk about it. And then when we meet with Mark on Monday, we'll have our better idea of what we're all sort of thinking as well. You know,
Well, we could all meet here, you know, tomorrow evening at 6 if you want, or we could do it sometime Saturday or Sunday. It's,
okay, I'm good at any time.
6 o'clock tomorrow works for us.
Okay.
Saturday
Everybody
works,
else.
afternoon, Sunday works, anytime.
Okay, 6 p.m. tomorrow is good.
Ed?
I'll try to be there as well.
It's good for me.
All right, so 6 o'clock tomorrow evening.
So just show up at my house and then
Okay.
you can just park on our drive or something and we'll walk over there and show you.
Walk over and take a look.
Man.
And before then, tonight, I'll send you the pictures of the things that I've seen and about these
And what-
coconut rolls.
This thing on Monday, do you want us to be there?
You can.
I don't think everybody needs to be there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it'll be a lot of people then, you know?
Okay,
I will relay every single thing that was said.
okay.
I mean, if you
Immediately
want,
after the
it's,
meeting.
you know, it's fine, but
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's fine, but we can't meet more than 2 at a time anyway, as commissioners.
Well, we're doing that tomorrow night at 6 o'clock.
Oh, right. Well, we're not like, we're not meeting, but we're not meeting, we're meeting only for informational purposes. We're not making any decisions. We're only going to.
decisions are made.
look- We're only going to look at something. We're not going to talk about it. We're not going to discuss anything. We're not making any decisions. This is purely a, you know, an area just to look at and see what it's all about.
Okay.
I think
You
that's
can
okay.
come by in shifts at every 15 minutes. And
I think that's okay. I mean, we're really just looking at it. We're not.
if y'all happen to
Talk
show up at
about
the
it.
same time, well,
Now, we'll be
Oh.
fine. You're right. The decision making, it's not a meeting. We're just observing something. So
Right, we're just looking at the spot. So it's purely informational. No decision making whatsoever.
I don't know if anybody's been by the slough lately to look at the areas where we started, 5 years ago, the aquatic plantings that were cordoned off by carp exclosures.
They're exploding.
The experiment to close off those inlets really paid a big dividend. We think so. Now, it could also be that it's just they've been in there for 5 years and they're that mature too. So
No, I
I
last
think
year
it's more related to the carp.
to
But
the carp, yeah, for sure.
those buffers have taken off something
Because
incredible.
we excluded the carp, but we took out the carp exposure just a few days ago. And I think that was a little too early because within 2 days, the carp were in the slough. And so we took them out because we said, well, only during spawning season, but apparently the carp just like to be in the slough during the summer. So if we could, you know, also speak with Public Works in the city, if we could take out those exposures, keep them for the summer because they seem to work so well and nothing happened, nothing bad, everybody's happy, and just take them out, you know, in November, for instance, definitely before it freezes every year,
Mhm,
then I think we could really make a big difference,
mhm.
you know, with
Now,
the
in terms of
shoreline.
in terms of the exclosures that are going to go around this new work that we're going to do at the lake, we've already purchased all the posts and all the fencing out of last year's budget. So we're good. We're covered for any kind of work that we're going to do in conjunction with these coconut rolls.
But it was really funny. The interns came across some resident who approached them and said, hey, why did you guys take out those carp exclosures? Which is kind of funny because we've got so many emails about it and everybody's like on board, like, yeah, let's do this, you know, let's have these carpet exposures. And they were wondering like, why did we take them out so early? So if we got permission, I think we should keep it for the whole summer. I think it really made a difference.
I agree. I think it made a difference also. Those plants never looked better over there. And it's been a relatively, and the lake's been mostly low than high this year. So those plants are still doing well with even low water. So, or maybe that's preventing the carp from getting to them. I don't know.
Yeah. And if the carp uproot a few of those, you know, aquatic plants at the lake, that's okay, as long as they don't get the shoreline. So that's what we'll have the carp exposures for.
And importantly, I don't think they're affecting other species moving back and forth, like the turtles and what have you.
No, the ground is so low. I've seen one of those soft shell turtles just like run across the street. So.
Yeah.
Timing wise, it's 5 to 8. So.
Oh.
Let's get a move on.
Let's get a move on. Okay.
All right, so the last part of this is the outreach program, and John has been pretty much doing that all by himself. And well, the times we've been over there as well, talking to the residents or walking up and down the street and asking them. But what made the most sense is, because we've been there doing plantings and stuff, is, and you see people, everybody's out in the front yard, they're doing stuff. So the plan was just to sort of try to go to these people and talk to them about, you know, all right, here, we're at your house, what do you think you'd like to see across the street? I mean, at the north end, you've got a lot of invasives that block off the view. Ask those people if they want a view.
I don't think that's a question. I think that's.
Well, I've talked to most of them, and everybody's on board. I mean, there's one resident I've not talked to at this point, and he's very hard to get to find. But everybody else is, you know, tries to take down some of that buckthorn and all that, and I've been formally talked to just about everybody there, and everybody's on board.
That's really great.
That's awesome.
Wonderful. Yeah. Okay.
And the art program, as we said,
is extended
through the end of August, so that's great. The Park District is also looking for a parcel of land where they could house more of a permanent art program. So that's kind of cool too.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, let's move on to John Muir Park. Well, has anybody heard about this chain of events? No. So I've received several emails over the last couple of weeks about John Muir Park, which, and a couple of you may have been at the meetings, I think over a year ago. We were at a Park District Board meeting and Lexington Homes was there to discuss a development project by John Muir Park. It was a townhouse development project which they had just sort of started and were talking about. And so this has progressed slowly over the last year to the point where they were going before the PZBA Planning and Zoning Board of Commissions to change it from an R1 to an R2. Anyway, they were going to change the zoning. So it looks like it's sort of moving, it was moving forward, and the residents are really upset about it and they don't want it to move forward. So they've been researching, they reached out to us with several emails. Apparently it's been wetland delineated and there's a little stretch on the property. And just to bring it back, so there was this old school there. There was like a preschool, what was it called? Anyway.
Jolly Fun House.
Jolly Fun House, thank you, Ed. Jolly Fun House School. And for the last, I think, 5 or 6 years, the owner, because it was privately owned, was trying to sell it. And there was some talk about maybe changing it, or maybe it would be the Park District and the city, and there's all sorts of ideas. But eventually, the woman wants to sell it to the developer who wants to build townhouses. So it's 60 units of townhouses on that property. But it doesn't really fit the model. So what they want to do is they want to exchange land with the Park District and taking up part of Muir Park, but exchanging that land for a portion of land along the existing property of the Jolly Fun House, which has been delineated as wetland. We were there at the site. I mean, it's, if anything, it's a very degraded, it's just delineated because at some point it was, but there's drainage there, there's like bottles, there's no plant,
think Marava in the startup.
It's a strip of land that basically has been delineated. But anyway, well, the whole point is that there seems to be some land shift and usage, and there's a lot of concerns about access and street, and there's just a lot of different issues that
The
the
aquifer.
residents. There's a million issues. The residents really don't want this to happen, and so they have they reached out to us several times about help. And first couple of emails, I was just trying to be helpful, like just offering resources of where they can get information about things about wetlands and if they wanted to. And I actually went out to go look at the site, but then I was sort of inundated. And then there was this meeting, and it was, you know, like 100 people had showed up to this meeting, which I happened to listen in on. And they've actually retained a lawyer, I think. They had a GoFundMe page where they got $11,000 from the residents. Anyway, what I'm saying is this is
Summarize,
existing.
please.
What? Summarize? That was a summary.
Yeah,
What I'm saying is I don't think we should get involved.
The summary is we're not involved in it. It's not our project. We have nothing to do with it. Just to let you know that it happened. That's
To
all.
let you know that it happened. And, you know, I mean, I think we can serve as an advisory role, but it's just, I don't think we should get involved in this.
No.
You know? That's my opinion. You can say, I mean, you can offer your own opinion about it, but it's very complicated.
Dana, Agnes, this is Peter.
Yeah.
If I can I agree with you, Agnes. The smartest thing to do is not to get involved because this is
Okay.
a 10 with the PZBA. So residents are going to be looking towards you guys to try to advocate for them. And seeing as you're both under the umbrella of the government, and the PZBA has not made a determination on this, I would steer clear of this. You can provide information as you have been doing, but just only for the simple fact is you're both co-equal bodies underneath the city. We don't want to have one commission pitted against another commission. So
Definitely.
you as individuals can have as individual residents can have your opinion. You can even voice that as a resident at a PZBA meeting. But I just would advise steering clear from as a member of this commission to get involved in it until, of course, the PZBA has made their determination. And then, again, you can then go to and speak with your elected officials as members of the public. So.
Thank you. That's
Yeah, thank
exactly the tack we're taking.
Yes, and even that very first email that I responded to, I made sure I was just as a resident, because I immediately just noticed that something was going on, and I just, I gave the information I had, and I didn't want to involve anybody because I knew that we had to all talk about anything, and I haven't even responded to any emails because I really feel like we just shouldn't get involved in this.
Okay,
So,
great. Let's move on.
okay.
All right. Updates, volunteer schedule, workdays.
So our last work day was at the slough, and we removed a lot of canner goldenrod. So last year we did this, and it really worked well. And so we had volunteers basically cutting down as much of the canner goldenrod. It was really beautiful because the Michigan lilies were out there at the slough. Unfortunately, we went back on just yesterday, and they had been eaten. Every single Michigan lily had been chewed off at the top, probably by deer, like 50 of them gone. So that was sad. But anyway, it was a very successful work day, and the next work day I expect will either be at the Sedge Meadow to collect seeds or at the Comet Prairie, but we'll see. So,
The work days have been well attended. We've been full at 10 people.
10 people, right? No more than 10.
Last time everybody had masks on the whole time because it was a more condensed work site. So that's it. Site monitoring reports.
Should we skip that for this meeting?
Okay.
Since we're running
Yeah.
against time.
Sure,
Sure.
we can do that unless somebody wants to say something.
No, all I just want to mention with Tully Park, I spoke with Wendy Dewar, and she did talk about that we need a productive burn. So I just want to put that out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all the burn permits have to be redone, so that'll be on the agenda for next time.
Yeah, everything needs a burn.
Okay, John, you got treasurer's report?
Yeah, thanks to Peter Falcone for getting these numbers to me today. I sent this out as an email like about an hour before the meeting. I apologize for that. But essentially, our net revenue at this point is just over $3,000. That includes expenditures for various products that we bought along the way, and then payments for the interns. It doesn't include the grant money and all that that's going to be coming in. Now, did that go in our general budget, or do we earmark that as a separate budget?
No, it's not in the general. It's definitely separate.
I have no idea. Ask Peter Falcone.
Peter, do you know?
I think
Peter,
it's definitely separate. It's earmarked for like the ComEd. It's not part of
it's
our.
like a separate budget for, and then we'll
Yes.
take out. Okay,
Yes,
so we'll make that happen on the next. Well, once we
Right.
see the cash.
Yeah. so it's definitely separate. Mhm.
Oh, thanks for I didn't notice it was on our screen. Thanks for showing that. Any questions?
Was that it?
That's it.
No,
All right, the ComEd Stantec visit. So this has been long scheduled, canceled several times, and then
And all of a sudden,
finally, all of a sudden, it happened. So Sarah Race came out with Dave from the Stantec. They were out yesterday
2 hours,
for two and a half, I think.
2.5.
And we took them to a walk through the slough. We drove by the lake. We took them to
Morava. The Sedge Meadow and the Remnant Prairie and the Comet Cedar Prairie. So it was like basically like we ran around Prospect Heights for
Right.
like 2.5 hours. But they're very fit, so they were fine. We saw everything. We talked about everything, a lot of different things. They really wanted to know how they could help, and how, in what capacity. So of course burning, which they weren't able to do, but they, as soon as they're able to burn, they will. Because it was slated, the Comet Seeded Prairie and the Remnant Prairie were slated for spring.
That was fall, then spring.
Then yeah, it was fall and then spring and then spring, and then it was like the day before the stay-at-home order was announced that they were gonna. The next day they were gonna burn, and the stay-at-home order was on Saturday. They were gonna burn on Sunday. But anyway, so one thing that we talked about, and Peter, you had mentioned all those shrubs, and they're very apparent, and there's no way that we can take care of all those shrubs. So what they're going to do, they promised to take care of all those shrubs at the Sedge Meadow and the Remnant Prairie. So they're going to bring in a brush hog, and in the winter, when there's the least amount of soil disturbance, and they're going to take down all those shrubs over there. So that's huge, 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 huge. Peter, are you there? Huh?
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
That'll be in addition to burning for us too.
And they're gonna burn. And then she mentioned that if we're doing like the nature camp at any point in the future, that if it's under the power lines, that they can partially fund that. So to let them know, we would have to provide like pictures and all of these things so they could
Put it on their
put it on their
PR system.
right, their PR system, but they could partially fund that, which would be really great. So even if it's like $500 for supplies for the nature camp, that would be a really great addition, and that could maybe offset a little bit of funding for the intern from the park district. So that's something really to consider for the future. So that was really great that she mentioned that.
Right. They were pleased to see everything that we've been up to. So it was a very, very solid, very good
And
visit.
Sarah, I believe, was here the last time like 4 years ago after we got the first grant, and she was very impressed at how everything's very different. No, she must have been 3 years ago at Morava when we just started, and she couldn't believe that it had progressed so much. So it was really nice.
Okay. Any announcements to the public?
Any more comments about anything we mentioned?
I just encourage anybody has any questions about the restoration work at any of the sites, and but in particular with this new site around the lake, that they can certainly reach out to us while we're working there, or email us through the website, and we're happy to answer any questions.
Definitely.
Any comments from the visitors? Okay.
No,
Make the motion, we adjourn.
Okay.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
I-
John, we're gonna come over and watch the Comet.
Okay.
That's after the meeting. You gotta wait a few minutes.
See everybody tomorrow at 6.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Bye.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Bye.